The following is a presentation of The Day.
On the campus of Norwich Free Academy, Game Day is proud to present to you unified basketball here in the ECC. And all of the action is, of course, live on Game Day, brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. All that's good begins with a smile. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile is our top priority. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you the personalized dental care you deserve, so contact us today at waterforddentalhealth.com for more information. Casey O'Neill along with the coach, Chris Giusti, and we'll be talking a lot today about unified sports, and particular unified basketball here today at NFA. We'll be talking with parents, coaches, player, and a variety of parents and people involved with it, Juice, so it's an exciting time. We see Bacon Academy being brought onto the floor. We're going to turn it over to Chris Giusti. We're going to turn it over to Chris Staley from NFA for the introduction of teams.
Our next school, Killingley High School. High School.
As schools are introduced, Montville High School being brought in next, and we have a number of schools here today. We have Bacon Academy introduced as well. Then Fitch High School, Killingley was brought in next, Ledyard, now Montville. Up next will be the unified team from New London.
Stonington High School.
On this, they went out of turn on me. They went to Stonington, so Stonington is the next school coming in. Bears represented here today. Turtelot High School. The Turtelot Tigers.
Waterford High School.
Lancer Nation in the house here at Unified Basketball. Also waiting on a couple of teams here. Our final team alphabetically, Woodstock Academy coming in next. There's your Waterford Lancers. The Centaurs in the yellow being let in. Your host school, Norwich Free Academy, and Juice, by far the biggest roster. Unified sports here, very prominent at NFA, and we look at this group almost twice the size of the next roster.
Yeah, about 52 kids, and they've played a lot of events outside of this area. They play a lot of events in the CCC, so they're definitely the most experienced team. But as the tenor of this broadcast unfolds, we'll see that the purpose of today's event is to celebrate the true sportsmanship that exists in athletics and the camaraderie that can be built among students. It's going to be, a different type of event than the broadcast that we traditionally bring you on theday.com, but it will be competitive. But you'll see a lot of the true sportsmanship and just joy for the game. So despite the fact that NFA has an experienced team, we expect a competitive event from all schools today.
So we have done unified sports here on game day. We've seen unified basketball sometimes at halftime of games. We've seen unified cheerleading during the cheerleading competition. Talk a little bit while the teams are being here on the floor. Just talk a little bit about what it means to be a unified. What is the definition of a unified athlete?
Yeah, so within the composition of the team, you have athletes and you have partners. So the athletes use the definition from the Special Olympics, and that's a student that has a special need, and a partner is supporting them. So at any given time when you're watching the game play out, the 5-on-5 game as basketball is played, you'll have 3 athletes on the floor from one team and 2 partners on the floor for one team. So depending on the level, and we'll get into that as we jump into various games, depending on the level, there's different modifications. The highest level of the game today will be a level 2 game, and any player can shoot during that game. There's very little modifications. The game will be played mostly how it's always played. There is no backcourt violation. That would be really the only dramatic change. Level 3 and level 4 are more instructional levels where only the athletes can shoot. And then level 5 is the recreational level, and that you'll see some modifications with the equipment, and that will allow some of our athletes to have a better chance to score the basketball.
So that was your explanation and the keys to the game, brought to you by the Holy Club, the premier indoor golf facility and lounge in southeastern Connecticut, located at 161 Water Street in downtown Norwich. So one of the things that we're going to do today as we go through, we are going to, for those of you watching, every single team represented here today will have at least part of one of their games live for you, broadcast, available to view. We'll talk more about what else we can expect. New London is coming into the gym now, so the Whalers have arrived and are coming in the green and gold.
All right, here is NFA's Joey Trombley and Chloe Green. They're going to lead us in a pledge of allegiance.
We're going to have a pause for our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Joe. And now NFA's Brett Rondo, Brenna Enslow, Sadie Edmond, and Chantitani Chang. They are going to lead us in the Athlete's Oath.
And next up, the Athlete's Oath. Well done, the Athlete's Oath. You know, as I was saying before, every team will have their games covered at least once today. And throughout the course of these games will be running both in the main gym, Alumni Gymnasium, as well as in Norton Gymnasium. So there's going to be upwards of 4 games going on at a time, and we'll be bouncing around game to game, but we'll give you a good 5 minutes of every game here. We'll be represented at one point or another. Every team, rather, will be represented at one point or another. But we'll try to keep it on 1 or 2 games, at a time over the course of a 10-minute block. And then we'll be bringing in people throughout the course of the day, coaches, players, parents, various people involved in the event itself, the athletes, their partners. We're going to talk with various people about what unified sports looks like. So we are due to start any moment. We are running about 15 minutes behind the original schedule, and we'll get going. So just talk a little bit about your own experiences. You have been a part of NFA and in a variety of capacities. Just talk about your experiences with Unified Sports.
Yeah, I mean, here at NFA, I have the honor and privilege to work as a special education teacher, Casey, and so a lot of the athletes that are out here today I've worked directly with in the classroom. And, over the years, this has been a celebrated part of the athletic department, and that goes back to Gary Mekowicki, the prior athletic director when I first started here, continued with Eric Swallow, and now with Roy Wentworth. It's really emphasized. They play a bunch of different sports throughout all 3 seasons of the year. They have an esports program where they compete in competitive Mario Kart racing. They have soccer, flag football, bowling, ice skating. So a lot of different sports here at NFA. They've kind of been on the cutting edge of unified sports, but it's becoming more and more popular throughout the state of Connecticut, involving, both students with special needs and without, and partnering them together to have a collaborative experience that benefits all.
Well, I know that having spoken with some of the unified athletes, this is a big deal. These games are a big deal for them, and the opportunity to go out and compete in, the partners. It's wonderful to see the relationship between the partners and the athletes, but if you think for a second, it's not competitive for the athletes. We were talking with some of them earlier. They're ready to launch some threes. They want to get their game on.
Absolutely.
That's the best part.
Yeah, this is big time. They see the big game day broadcast and the amount of people here. A lot of the times it is just, one school against another school. It's a small environment, but when they bring together multiple schools for these big tournaments like this, it has the feel of an ECC tournament championship, like the cheerleading championships or the wrestling championships or the basketball semifinals, where there's a lot of teams and schools in the building, a lot of different uniform colors. So they definitely are amped for this. They've been talking about it for weeks, looking forward to this date, and now it is here, and we're going to have all the action here on game day.
So our opening game will be NFA's Level 2 team versus Waterford in a Level 2 game. So going back to that Level 2, we should expect in this particular game that they will go up and down the floor, and that most of the skill level for the kids on the floor should be, both hands, and sort of it will resemble what we are used to seeing in a basketball game, with some relaxation of the calls on, say, things like 3 seconds, right, or things like that. But for the most part, we're going to see full-speed basketball. Now, I don't know how you award, because they're going to be going side to side. How do they award the threes? This is a question for the ages. I think it's going to have to wait, look at the officials' hands. I see if they throw their arms up in the air or not.
And another rule within the Level 2 game, Casey, because this is the only level today that every single player is able to score, it must be a 50-50 distribution of points between the athletes and the partners. So there is a little bit of game management and a chess game, so to speak. I was talking to Chris Staley earlier today. He said, a game this season, he played a Level 2 game, and they had 12 quick points from their partners. So they had to manage and make sure that they were counting the points that the athletes were scoring, because if the game ends and it's not a 50-50 distribution, or it could be more in favor of the athletes, but it can't be more in favor of the partners. So if the partners get more than 50%, it's a forfeit. So, and as you alluded to, they don't want to lose. they are coming to win. The spirit and joy is going to be evident with all plays, but they want to win the game.
So NFA looks like we're going to jump it up, and we're going to see our right out the gates here, Waterford and NFA, a big-time rivalry in the ECC. Number 18 for NFA is Eddie Yanjin Tyson, and he'll be jumping it up. It looks like Diego Graciano will be jumping it up for Waterford. Had a chance to meet Diego along with Onyx Myers before the game, assistant coach or head coach Brett Arnold from Waterford, a longtime friend of Game Day, and he brought a couple of his athletes because they wanted to come over and wanted to meet the Game Day crew. They wanted to come over and see the, all the high-tech stuff we got going on over here, and they wanted to know if we, if I hit a three, am I gonna get a got it?
And a nice crowd here in the NFA bleachers to watch these games. As you mentioned, Casey, there's going to be 4 games going on in 2 different gymnasiums. The bleachers are out in the Norton Gymnasium, the smaller gymnasium as well. The crowd is filling in there, so nice crowd here to watch these athletes.
All right, here we go. NFA and Waterford to jump it up, and NFA will win the tip and have the first possession of the game. Nice pass underneath, shot is up, and our first 2 points of the game come from Tyson. Gets it to go down, an early NFA lead.
Nice pass inside and quick finish for Eddie.
Onyx Myers with the basketball for Waterford, over to Graciano. Good defense from NFA. Swings it over to Bree Smith. Back to Graciano. He's going to launch from deep. A little bit hard off the backboard. Rebound goes back to Graciano. See if he lets it fly again. He does. It's up. Back iron, and a strong rebound comes down to Jack Bichette. And moving the ball up the floor now is NFA with a 2-point lead. Nice pass underneath to Tyson. A little reverse layup, no good, but rebound put back, and we're going to get a whistle, and another game starts as well. So Killingly will be going on the side. We're going to keep it here with Waterford and NFA.
Couple missed opportunities there for the Academy, and here come the Lancers.
Myers with the basketball for Waterford, launches it in, trying to dump it down to a teammate in the paint, but it goes a little bit long. It'll be NFA basketball.
Student section in full force here behind the basket that the Lancers are shooting into.
Nice pass underneath, and the basket is made. NFA knocking it down is Jarrell Hagan, and it's a early lead for the Wildcats.
Tipped out of bounds there. They remain with the Lancers.
Graciano will inbound. Oh, good defense. That was Lamont Gaynor for NFA. Gaynor playing great defense on Graciano. He's chasing him around almost like a boxing one. And there it is, Gaynor with a steal, good hands. But Onyx Myers comes back with it for Waterford. Over to Bree Smith. Good hands from NFA in the middle, and a steal. Here go the Wildcats. Nice bounce pass. And a basket made. NFA knocking it down, Jack Bichette.
Yeah, nice feed from Gavin Duda. Pushed it up the sideline, found his teammate. NFA with the 6-0 lead.
I'm almost surprised to not see the NFA running the little 3-2 zone.
Early in the season, Coach Staley said, any tips? I said, Chris, you've been doing this long enough. I think I can learn something from you. I mean, the strategy that has to go into it, all the skill development, it's something to behold with all these different levels. So it's a complex process to run all of this, the entire operation smoothly the way he does.
Waterford basketball. And Graciano brings it up for the Lancers. Good defense by the Wildcats. Now driving. Nice dump down underneath and stolen. It's going to be NFA basketball as Gaynor. And we're going to see a bunch of subs come into the ball game, so we'll switch it over to a new crop for NFA. Inbounding will be Leah Birchman.
Yeah, 18 people on this level 2 roster for NFA alone, Casey. So they have a lot of subs to matriculate into the basketball game as we get moving here. And bringing it down the court.
Nice intercepted pass. Starts with the steal for Waterford. Good pass underneath to Graziano. Reverse layup. Oh, off back iron. Gets his own rebound. Puts it back up again. Again, a little bit too strong. Look at another offensive board, though. Passes to his teammate. Gets it back. A little give and go action. Relentless under the boards, though. And finally, the rebound for the Wildcats. Jose Bermudez brings it up for NFA.
Brenna Enslow.
Oh, back iron. That was almost dropped. Enslow had a look that time.
Got some height out here for Waterford right now.
Ethan Del Grosso. Good look to Graziano. Enslow playing the defense, though. Long shot. Back iron, no good. Rebound underneath. Puts it back up and gets it to go. Ramel Abbas with the basket. She's pumped.
Gets Waterford on the board, 6-2 NFA.
All right, we're going to switch off of the NFA Waterford game and head over to Bacon Academy and NFA in a 5 game, in a level 5 game. So we'll switch that over. And taking the shots right now for Bacon. That looks like Connor Blanchette taking the shots. I know Connor from Bacon Academy. And actually knew Connor back when he went to pre-K at Bacon Academy. He's taking some shots. And now they're going to do a modified basket. So you talked about some of the things you can do in level 5, including basket modification. So they're bringing a different basket here. And Connor's going to take a couple shots at the modified basket.
And in level 5, there's also the ability to have a one-to-one assistance.
He's got Brooke Rogers there, a little alley-oop. Good job, Connor.
You see a lot of the NFA basketball team athletes as well helping out on the sidelines. That was Cameron Barbosa setting up the rim. NFA boys.
Nice job, Ryan McDonald, dropping a bucket for the Wildcats. There's David Marino, number 20 for Bacon Academy. We're going to give the ball back over to NFA. To the modified basket goes McDonald.
And another basket.
Nothing but net, by the way. That, by the way, I've shot in baskets that size, and I can't knock one down. He's not even hitting the rim.
They practice. They practice.
Wesley Piella now bringing it up the floor. Good ball handling, using the right and the left. Switching it over, a little crossover. Jump shot is up, that's a little strong. One more. The high arcer by Piella. He wants the big hoop. He's going big time. He's got the height. He's just got to get a little more up. Almost bottom rim. Oh, front rim. Getting closer and closer. I like the fact that everyone roots for everyone. Knocks it down. I like that everyone roots for everyone. They all want everyone to score a basket. And I got to think that action, the ball going through the hoop, I mean, it feels good anywhere, anytime, whether it's a rolled up sock, in a garbage barrel, or a basketball in a hoop. Like, that feeling of putting a ball in a basket it's just a great feeling all the way around.
Yeah, and as you said, Casey, they want to win because it's kind of like that's the goal of sports, so to speak, is win the game, but they're all happy for each other in that pursuit.
Joey Trombley trying to get this one to go. Sometimes there's just a lid on the basket. Trombley, persistent though, using the bank. There it goes. Joey Trombley with a basket for NFA's Unified. Little high fives from teammates, partners, Sadie Edmond. And it'll be back over to Bacon Academy.
There we go, Casey, fast break.
Heading to the basket, David Marino. He wants the big one. So Marino is going to give it a shot. Just short left. Just high. Marino letting it fly for the Bobcats. One more, Marino. Oh, just off the back iron. He's feeling it, though. One more crack at it here. Marino going to move to the adjusted basket. Getting some instructions. He'll get another crack, his partner, Audra Pertorti. And a little dunk action coming. Is Marino going to throw it down? Boom, there it is. And that basket by Bacon is going to give us a chance to head to a break. We'll be back with a guest. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
The Holy Club, the premier indoor golf facility and lounge in southeastern Connecticut. Featuring Foresight Sports Simulator technology, you can test your game on the greatest courses in the world. Want to improve your swing? Schedule a lesson with their on-site PGA Pro. Want to host an event? The lounge offers the perfect setting to watch all the big games. Gift cards are available and make the perfect stocking stuffer for this holiday season. Don't wait. Stop by the Holy Club, 161 Water Street in downtown Norwich.
You buy better. Better at first. Much better. So much better at first. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better at first. You buy better at first. You buy better.
The Burns Agency can feel it, and we know you feel it too. Fall is here. Crisp air, falling leaves, pumpkin everything, and football. So much football. With a new season upon us, it's a great opportunity to take a quick time out and make sure your insurance program is in order. The Burns Agency is here to help you play by play. Strong coverage, dependable service, and touchdown savings. Give us a call or visit us online. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
We're back, and we're here with our first guest, parent of Montville Junior Sophia Williams, who wears the best number in all of sports, 37. Father Chris, and thanks for joining us for a minute. And
you're quite welcome.
You know, we're so happy to be here today, and I just talk a little bit about your experience with Unified Sports.
This is my daughter's actual first year. She autistic, but horses and art, but the Montville Unified convinced her to play basketball, which has been an overwhelming experience. As a ref, this is the way to go. No rules, just kids having fun, enjoying themselves.
Now that's funny because I was going to bring that up, right? So as an official, you see athletes, all the time, interact with athletes all the time. Talk about stepping back and what perspective this has brought to you as an official watching how Unified Sports is run.
For me and her mom, it's just watching kids play for the love of the game, not worrying about the score. The three Montville coaches do a phenomenal job. Mr. Danowitz, Principal Danowitz, got to go to Hartford Civic Center to watch a UConn game, and the Unified Montville got to play at halftime of the UConn game, which was an amazing experience. But the three Montville people, their practices, there's no pressure, just playing the game the way it's supposed to be. Not worried about a score.
How did you first hear about unified sports, and what made you think that it would be something that would benefit your daughter?
I knew about it, but I didn't know. I knew Montville had it, but the people, my daughter's paras and the people that she works with kept convincing her, and then got her into the program, and the 3 that are doing it are phenomenal with the kids, which is it's just an awesome experience for all the kids.
What have you seen from her? Like, what have you seen her reaction to it over the course of time? Like, how has it, changed her? How has she talked about it? How has it, developed?
She loves the experience because her friends play. That's what got her into it, and they all get along, and it's a good experience, and it's stepping out of her comfort zone, which I'm really proud of, trying something new, and she's grown to like it and love it, which is good. As an official, horses and art are her thing, and now I'm glad to see it's sports.
Yeah, and when you talk, Chris, about like stepping out of her comfort zone, has that encouraged her to maybe try some other things that maybe she wouldn't have because of this experience, or maybe branch out and talk to some other people that possibly she wouldn't have talked to in the past?
Oh, definitely. She's done this, and at Montville High they have a snack cart and food cart for all that she pushes around. So now her freshman year, I wouldn't say she's more open to talk to anybody right now.
Yeah.
So it's opened her up to new, and just her trying new things is awesome, which is good. I think everybody, and in this environment with no rules or just for fun, this is the way to go. I would recommend it. And she's going to do it again next year, which is good.
That's awesome.
How about her experiences with her partner or her partners in Unified, and the relationship that has developed with the students that she's worked with during the game?
Oh, the Montville Unified team, they're a tight-knit group. They all get along. A couple of them are at the Transition Academy, some at Montville, but they're all one little mini family. So when I drop her off to school, she's the same. It's a tight-knit group, which is good. And there's no, like, you play sports and I have, there's no drama, there's no jealousy, it's just play, and whatever happens, happens. It's the way it should be.
And what are we looking at for the spring? Do they have anything going on in the spring season, a spring sport coming up, or?
Honestly, my daughter plays not for Montville, but she's done kickball, tennis for that organization in East Lyme, the Miracle League.
Oh, okay.
So we got her into tennis. Anybody with a special needs, the Miracle League, they built the field in East Lyme, so she's done the kickball, the tennis. They do softball. They do canoeing or kayaking out of Niantic Bay, which is an awesome experience. So if the school doesn't have it, the Miracle League's the way to go.
That's good. It's good for.
Because she was going to do Miracle League basketball until she did this, which I'm glad she did. Because Derek and Miss McComick and Mr. Russo are awesome.
Yeah, the Miracle Field, and that has been it's a beautiful complex, and it's been just such a great asset for the southeastern and the community in general, and seeing the kids take advantage of that. I was there when they opened it, and it was just such a great day, and so it's good to see them use it. Just talk about some of the experiences, like you mentioned, halftime at the. That
was an experience.
Game. What kinds of things, have you either personally experienced or heard about, through Montville that they've been able to take advantage of?
I can only talk about the Montville Special Needs program itself. Is by far, I'm biased, but the best in the state. They've been with these kids from preschool, same people look out for her. Everybody knows everybody. Sophia knows all her workers. They make sure of everything. She's in occupations class, Mr. Burns, that with this, like I said, the snack cart, the other cart, takes them on field trips. They make snacks for all the local fire departments and police departments. But it's the same tight-knit, like 10 to 12 kids, but the Montville Special Needs and the paras and the whole group are phenomenal. Just beyond words, phenomenal. They make sure all the kids are well taken care of, and they know not one negative word ever.
It's been a great experience so far. I'm glad to see that you and your family have had that same experience. And for what it's worth, it's weird for me to say Principal Danowitz too. So it's totally okay.
Our first football meeting when he got us our gym, Vice Principal Danowitz, you're my kid's principal.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining us.
But I got to thank you guys, because this being on the computer My sister in Texas is watching my niece right now, which is phenomenal. I've done games when you guys have done football, but this is an experience for the kids, which is awesome.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking forward to talking to more people throughout the course of the day. I want to thank Chris Williams for joining us. He'll be watching as
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sophia joins Unified Sports, and we'll be back right after this. You're watching Game Day. No, we're going to keep it here. All right, Peter Wappy says we're going to keep it here. I do what Peter tells me. We got Fitch and Ledgerd on the floor, so they are up our next ball game. Here in the early going, Ledgerd on fire. That's James Damian, who has been on fire for the Colonels. And now Ledgerd with the ball. Drive into the basket, shot up, no good. And the ball will go over to the Falcons. Josh Francis brings it up for Fitch. Francis looking for Witten, but Francis takes it all the way to the basket himself. Shot is up, no good, off to the side. Rebound, and underneath, good rebound by the Falcons. Kicks it out to Witten. Jump shot, back iron. It goes from Malachi Reed, and the rebound comes down to Ledgerd.
Level 2 team for Fitch, level 3 team for Ledgerd.
Long shot from John Underwood III, and that goes just left. And so it'll be Falcon basketball, and Francis will bring it up the floor.
Good steal.
Steal going the other way is Damian, and loses it out of bounds. And we're going to cut over to Woodstock now, their game with Fitch.
This is a level 4 game, Casey, so.
Rashid Robledo, and now a shot from Robert Rosario. Rosario side rim for the Falcons.
So one of the rules in the level 4s, clear path to shoot.
And a nice job, Rosario knocks down the basket for the Falcons. And Woodstock will have the basketball. This game is over in Norton. And long jump shot. Good form, though. That's not going to take long for that one to go down.
Lefty.
That's Aiden Botello. And Botello getting some high fives. He'll pass it off and give it over to NFA. And we're going to get the ball over to Gabe Kelly. Gabe Kelly's going to take some shots here for the Falcons.
Getting instruction from Charlotte Driscoll.
Front rim for Kelly. That one was right on line. That one's all off left. He's drifting a little left. Got to bring that back a little bit right. So now Woodstock will have their chance, dribbling it down the floor for the Centaurs. Shot is up. First time. Knocks it down right on the first shot. Well done. Now coming back the other way, yeah. Good pass underneath by Robledo. Gives it over to Rosario. Rosario. Got to have your big working under the basket. Oh, and I think a friendly touch. Shooter's touch for Rosario. Coming down the other direction now, Centaurs.
Another bucket.
Basket is good. Knocked down by Ariana Fox. Fox with the basket for Woodstock.
Nice form. Woodstock has the good shooting form. Pass out of bounds.
Rosario gets to the basket. Little help from the Woodstock teammate. I like this, working together. Rosario needs that shooter's touch that he had last time. This time he gives it over to Robledo. And Robledo
just a little bit off.
A little strong. Woodstock going to come in the other direction now.
Another nice shot there, Casey.
Another basket. Aiden Botello is like money.
The lefty.
They always have, doesn't matter what it is. Golf swing, baseball swing, jump shot, lefties.
Pretty.
They just look good. So we're going to give it back to Gabe Kelly. Kelly's going to take a step up and a little hard off the back that time, but he's right on line. A little closer that time for Kelly. He's just got to take a little off. You can see him getting some good instruction from his partner. And that'll do it. So we're going to bring in our next guest. And what is it about Chris's today? I'm surrounded the first time.
Chris's are wild.
I went Chris Giusti. I went Chris Williams. Now we've got Chris Staley. And Chris, thank you for joining us. I've known you a long time, and I've known for a long time your involvement with and just what a amount of passion you have for unified sports. But I haven't been to an event like this. Just talk about this day, because this is pretty spectacular.
Well, I tell you what. First of all, we really appreciate you guys being here. This is an amazing event, and we're thrilled to be able to give this opportunity to the kids, but also to bring some exposure to unified sports, give folks that might not be able to attend an event a chance to get in here. What we love about Unified and this program is just that. It's providing opportunities to kids. All of our teams have a mix of students with and without some kind of intellectual disability. They are working together towards a common goal, and the focus really as we're playing is about basketball, and that's very much what we're all about, trying to use sports to bring kids together. It's one of the things I love about it, because kids are able to connect with their teammates, but also when they're at events like this, they're meeting people from other schools or making connections that way. So it's a thing I like the most, those opportunities we give kids to really connect with each other, do some positive things for their school. It's really awesome.
I said there's something special about the ball going through the hoop, whether it's a rolled up sock in a waste paper basket or the big hoop, the little hoop. It doesn't matter. There's something very satisfying, and it seems to really resonate across the board with the kids. Just the act of putting the ball in the basket has sort of I don't know, it's almost like a therapeutic feel to it. 100%. It's really seeing that come to fruition.
Yeah, and what's great too, we're talking about kids trying to make connections. Sometimes it can be difficult to figure out, how do I start a conversation with somebody else? But somebody hits a great shot in a basketball game. Right there, you're saying, oh my gosh, that was an amazing shot. You have a conversation that's starting, you're able to make connections, you're talking about something that's both meaningful and that's a shared experience. And that's a big part of what we try to do here. It's starting those little connections so that down the line, you're saying, this is somebody that I've gone on bus trips with to different games or played in tournaments like this. And now you've got that bank of experience that really is what starts to form those bonds of friendship and those bonds as teammates. So,
talk a little bit about the partner-athlete relationship, because the thing that has really stuck out to me has been the connection that I see between the partners and the athletes, sometimes that are general and sometimes one-on-one where they really do a lot of work.
I mean, I think that's something that's really neat to watch evolve over time. We have some students that have been with us for 4 years. They've played together for 4 years. And at the beginning, a lot of times partners don't exactly know much about the program. Some schools have programs that start right in elementary school and work all the way up. Some of them don't. This is the first time they're getting involved in Unified. So coming in, a lot of times the partners are very surprised about how outgoing, how unafraid, how ready some of the athletes are to just get out there and play. And honestly, the partners end up learning a lot about themselves. We're playing basketball today, but kids in NFA do a whole wide variety of different activities. We have a unified dance class, for example. Our athletes will get out there, they dance like they don't have a care in the world, and some of our partners are like, whoa, I'm not ready to do that, I can't do it. But through the connections they're making with the kids, they start to build their own self-confidence, and through that relationship, they're putting themselves out there in ways that they might not otherwise have done.
We're going to be switching over in a minute to the Montville-Killingly game, but while we have you, I want to take this opportunity to just talk a little bit about some of the great events that you've been able to be a part of here through Unified?
So we're really lucky at NFA. It's an incredible school because when we go to like Roy, our athletic director, or talk to some of the administration here about things we're interested in doing, they are incredibly supportive. Anything that we're looking to do, they're saying, let's figure out a way to make this happen. It's the same thing with kids. We talked a little bit at the beginning about the penguin plunge that we did. That's a tough sell to tell a bunch of high school kids, hey, we're going to jump in the ocean in the middle of winter. But
You promised you'd wear a banana suit, and that was the draw to get them there.
I was so hoping. You know, the funny thing about banana suits, they do have a lot of appeal.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, there we go. One thing I've learned, kids love dad jokes, so that's true.
Fits well. All three of us here would be right in that alley then.
But, you know, we've had opportunities to do things. In 2018, we had a unified team that played in the Special Olympics USA Games. It's a national games. We traveled out to Seattle. We were out there for a week, competed there. We ended up winning a silver medal in that round. So the banner's actually hanging on the wall right in here. NFA's won the Michaels Cup several times, most recently in 2016. That's a statewide program that recognizes excellence in unified programs. So there's things that are amazing opportunities we've been able to offer kids. And then on our campus, we offer unified soccer, unified basketball, and unified track for our sports. Last couple of years, we started offering unified esports. It's a brand new initiative. Kids are playing Rocket League, which is soccer with cars, and Mario Kart. They're competing with unified programs all over the country. So the guys have a game tomorrow with a unified program in Michigan, and then they're playing somebody in Oklahoma. So that's a brand new initiative that the CIAC brought to us. We said, how do we make this happen? We made it happen, and now that's another avenue to get kids who maybe aren't so interested in sports to get connected and still have that unified philosophy going.
Last question before we turn it over to Montville and Killingly. For someone out there, and I know it's a little bit different in every school, but someone out there who's watching and says, I have a kid with special needs, and this is great. What would you recommend for them to do to seek information?
So I can tell you, Connecticut, honestly, is one of the leaders in the country in terms of unified programs at the high school level. Right around 95% of Connecticut high schools have a unified program, so chances are your high school has a unified program. The CIAC office is often looking to start programs at the middle school and even elementary school level. So if you've got folks at your school that are interested in starting a unified sports program, best thing to do is talk to your administrator at your school, get some folks together that are interested in kind of running the sports, and then reach out to the CIAC Unified office. They've got a variety of resources. They have all kinds of information. And honestly, they are looking to help schools get those programs going.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Chris Staley joining us here. We're going to turn it over, and you're welcome to stick around with us. You know, be a third person in the booth here. We're going to take a little look here at Montville and Killingly. And we want to, and I legit want to thank everybody involved with giving us rosters. It is one of the biggest challenges in all of broadcasting. These are the most accurate rosters we've had in a while, so we do appreciate that. Montville is going to have basketball. While we got Montville and Killingly, you see officials in the game. You got scorekeepers, tons of volunteers here today as Montville letting it fly. There's Sophia Williams. We just talked with her dad, Chris, as well, and she's got the shot, wearing 37, as I mentioned, the greatest number in all of sports. And Killingly will take it over, and coming down the floor for Killingly, number 6, Kyle Gagnon. He'll take a shot and gets the shooter's touch right off the rip.
Friendly roll. Chris, talk about the volunteers. Casey alluded to all the volunteers. Talk about, you know, what it takes to get a big event like this off the ground, so all the people you need to help out.
Well, I tell you what, it's from the little to the big. I mean, there's a ton of things that go into just setting things up. You know, we had folks here, Varsity End Club, for example. We try to feed everybody afterwards, so they're out getting pizza.
There's a bucket, Casey.
Lindsay the Valley knocking it down for Killingly, and that was after Chad Simon had a good look from Montville.
So
and
it's
now back
just
to
those
Williams.
kind of things. You know, we got people out getting food, breaking that down. All the kids are going to get medals when the event is over, getting that stuff set. And then we have members of the Varsity End Club running the scores table. They're running the clocks. The refs who've been coming here, honestly,
That's Lindsay knocking it down. Number 37, Sophia Williams, knocking it down for Montville. So Sophia already with a better shot than her dad. And we're switching it over. That's New London and Ledyard over in Norton. So we'll take a look at what's going on over there.
And what do we got? Over here we got this a level 3 game, Chris?
So these should be a level 4 game over in Norton right now.
Okay,
So
level
looks
4.
like Ledyard, New London.
So there's Ledyard and New London as we see Samantha Tramontana heading down the floor for Ledyard, and we're going to get a shot. New London is going to take a shot. Jonathan Serrano with the basketball. Serrano lets it fly, back iron no good. Weak side rebound to the Colonels. Bringing it down the floor. Look, got a teammate. Oh, get the shot off instead. I like that. Let it fly. Rebound, Madison McLeod. McLeod's looking to get it, but great defense from Naya Pamphile. That's a great rebound. She's going to bring it up the floor. Shot just goes wide. So in Norton, we've got one game going on. We've got 2 games going on in alumni, so action everywhere. And NFA with by far the biggest roster. Ideally, there's a split, right, between the partners and the athletes. You'd like it to be about a 50-50 split.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
Is that difficult to maintain or get, or is it actually almost too easy? You get more partner volunteers than you do athletes.
I mean, that's something that we love to do. You know, we try to find
buckets.
Long
amazing, huh?
3, knocking it down. Juan Almonte got at it.
So we try to find opportunities for as many kids as we can, and Montville's a good example of this. They have 2 level 3 teams because they had a bunch of kids that were interested.
Chris, the action here in Norton is flying high. Nick Theodore, they're just trading baskets. No defense being played in Norton whatsoever.
I tell you what, it's awesome. Our friends from New London that are here, they haven't had a chance to be at the tournament lately, so just getting opportunities to come out and play, it's an awesome thing for a lot of these teams.
We got Chris's family here coming, give him a hug, and been working on this for over a month now to get this tournament, even longer, right? To get this tournament off the ground, it's a lot of moving parts.
That's right, and you know, one of the things that we're excited is to be able to have you guys out too. That's been incredible. The kids are going to be able to go back and watch this and be able to see themselves on TV. You know, we have folks, some of our team members, they have family in Turkey that are not able to travel to games. They're going to be able to watch the broadcast. It's just incredible to be able to add this to our tournament. So it's something we're very, very appreciative of.
Theodore with a couple of long shots. Now we're going to get one more Ledyard shot. New London will take the ball up the other way. Well, one of the great things about game day's reach, you know, is that we love when we get people chiming in from all around the world, saying, you know, whether it's, you know, we have soldiers stationed overseas, family members living around the world, players playing in other places. So right off the bat, Chris Williams said best part was that family in Texas was going to get a chance to watch, you know, his daughter play. There's the, you know, that is a dilemma. So where's the tall kid? Oh, just shy. That's a tough shot. That's a tough ask in the bleachers.
It's a tough one, yeah.
This is where you got to get a ball. No, you know, this is where you just got to get a basketball. And we're going to go the shake method. There we go, Tall Dad. Right. Thank you, Tall Dad.
Breakaway here for New London.
Good point guard.
That looks like it can have a sub, or that's might wrap it up.
I think it's going to be wrapping up the Ledyard and New London game. So we're going to send it away for a break for a moment. We'll be back with another guest. We want to thank Chris Staley for joining us and taking us through some of the great unified opportunities being provided here at NFA and other places. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Pave the way for your students' financial success with a MySci account from Scient Federal Credit Union. Open a high-yield MySci savings account today and help support a positive financial future for your student. Visit scientfcu.org to learn more. All that is good begins with a smile. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile is our top priority. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Contact us today. Visit us at waterforddentalhealth.com for more information.
Back here at the Norwich Free Academy, Chris Juicy and Casey O'Neill, joined by Derek Wainwright from Montville. And Derek, want to give us some background on how you're involved in this event today?
Well, I teach at Montville High. I've been coaching in the area for years. I teach all of our special needs juniors, I guess. So every year I've been coming and watching these games and stuff, and it's just such a fun time. It's just positive energy in the gym. The kids get a kick out of it. As a fan, I've always got a kick out of coming. So either last year or the year before, I can't remember with COVID, but I came to our game, and we only had 2 kids playing. We didn't really have any regular ed kids, and it kind of upset me. Just, this is supposed to be a thing for the whole school, not just for the couple special needs kids that get out here. And so I told our administration, if this thing opens up, I'd be interested in doing it. And so this year, I said I wanted to, help out. Nicole McCormick, who's our girls lacrosse coach, she had done this a few years ago, and she said she would like to be the head coach, and I said I would be more than happy just to help. I don't know if you guys know Alex Russo. I'm sure you know his father. Mr. Russo is one of my good friends at Montville, and I've been telling him the last couple of years, when this opens up, you and I should do this. And Alex has his own disabilities, so he fits right in here with this crew. But we've just been having so much fun this year. It's been an absolute blast. The 3 of us adults are having fun. We have a great group of kids. Kyle, come say hello real quick. This is our star right here. This is Kyle Varney. Say hello, Kyle.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Kyle. You having fun today?
Yeah.
Very good. He's waiting for the pizza.
Oh,
as I'm sure you are as well.
I'm
waiting for the pizza right here. Yes. Well, good, Kyle. Good job, buddy. Head on back.
Nice to meet you, Kyle.
But yeah, we Ken Danowitz, who's our new assistant principal this year, when he heard I was doing this, he says, I think I can get you guys the opportunity to play at a UConn game. So we started practicing. We've been doing this since the beginning of November. And our first game was actually at halftime of a UConn girls game, which was fantastic. We go ahead.
How many people is that in front of?
Every game we play, we have certain kids that are nervous as could be because they're playing in front of people. The first time we went out there, UConn girls do every year like a noon game.
Yeah.
Try to get the kids from school field trip day. Say about 8,000 in the Civic Center. And it was honestly, it was one of the best things I've done since I've been at Montville, where every kid that we brought our special needs kids scored. After we came off the floor, I can't remember his name right now, but the UConn guy who's in charge of their halftime shows asked if we could come back again this year. He said we've never had a show like that. Just the entire crowd was into it. Every basket our kids made, the crowd was going nuts. So just a great experience for me as well as the kids right here.
Derek, you've had experience, obviously, coaching varsity level basketball, both the boys and girls teams at Montville. Talk about a little bit, 2 things. Talk about the difference in the camaraderie, and then also talk about kind of the skill development and how practice is structured, things like that.
Yeah, we practice once a week, so obviously it's a lot more laid back. As a coach, a lot less sleepless nights. But what we've been doing at the beginning of the year is really at the beginning just working on some basic dribbling, working on passing, and the great thing with our group is our special needs kids like seeing the other kids score. So they get down to the basket, they want to hand it to their friends. They want to hand it to the kid in their class and stuff like that. So everything's slow, and obviously our practices aren't competitive or anything, but it's just fun. And none of our regular ed kids had done this before, and I think they really are looking at this as one of their fun high school experiences, one of the cool things they've done, just being with this group of kids that they probably interacted minimally. But yeah, they're helping out, and you see kids getting better. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, when our last guest, Chris Staley, said that, sometimes maybe an instance like playing in front of UConn, or when you're in a situation that might cause anxiety or nerves. Sometimes the athletes are more calm than the partners. Sometimes the partners, and it actually sometimes. Do you see that sometimes the partners come out of their shell a little bit because of this experience?
Definitely. And we, with Nicole's the girls lacrosse coach, as I said, she has 3 freshman lacrosse girls that at the very beginning, they were as nervous as anybody here. They were nervous, they're with seniors and stuff. My thing was I can get older kids because they need community service hours.
Yeah.
I'll get kids out here to play because they want us to write college recommendations and stuff. But these 3 girls, Kevin right here is one of my favorites. Big Kev scoring right here. I had Kevin in class twice. He's just a great, great boy. I'm sorry, but yeah, these 3 young girls. Over the course of this year, you see them fitting into the group. And, any sport team you're coaching, the young kids, it takes a while to kind of get acclimated, but have the rest of the group kind of bring them into the fold, I guess. And what better environment could you have than this? You know what I mean? It's obviously, nobody gets mad at anybody. There's no yelling, but you slowly see these kids. I think some lifelong friendships are probably being made out of this right here. And it's also unique where Kevin right here, number 33, and Alyssa, the girl next to him, they've both been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. So as we walked into the gym today, people are saying hi to them. Kids from other teams are recognizing them, coming over and giving them a hug and stuff like that. So for those kids who don't usually get a lot of, they don't make a lot of friends necessarily outside the town that they live in, their friend group and stuff, they get to meet a lot of other kids who are in similar situations.
That's tremendous.
It's just great to see.
Tremendous.
We just saw a basket knocked down. Woodstock Academy, Ian Palmerino knocked one down. On the other side of things, we saw Brenna Enslow try to take a charge. And went down, popped right back up though, but was on the floor, and we just got another basket. Woodstock Academy, I got to tell you that we have seen some good shooting from Woodstock Academy so far. They were knocking it down in Norton. They've come over here into Alumni, and they're still filling it up.
Yeah, Woodstock has had some great unified teams as well. I was at the unified soccer tournament that Chris Landry, the athletic director of Waterford, hosted in the fall, and Woodstock NFA was a great matchup. A lot of terrific soccer moves and scoring opportunities in that game as well.
Christopher Kirkconnell made a great pass, rebound back down, and Woodstock working it under the basket. Offensive rebound, put back, got to work the glass.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the fundamentals from this Woodstock team. Keeping it high, going right back up.
If we had $1 for every time we told our athletes throughout the year to keep it high when you get the rebound.
Go right back up.
You're talking about practicing and skill development. When you get a unified player who maybe struggles with one particular task, what's the approach that you tend to take to how do you kind of sort them for what level they're going to be playing
Yeah,
in?
we try to match them up with an individual kid, like a partner. Somebody who gets where they're coming from, sees their ability level, and our group of peers, they're just such a good group of kids. When we say, try to do this with so-and-so, they're on top of it. They're on top of it, and it's really like they're equals out there. But the reality is, they've got mentors out there. As a coach, honestly, there's obviously not a lot of skill development going on compared to regular high school basketball. But in terms of growth, for a lot of these kids, you're probably seeing more than a high school kid over the course of the year, especially for a kid that really, some of these kids have never had a ball in their hands in their lives, basketball or maybe other sports as well.
Got a chance to get our first look at Turtelot, and they're playing Killingly right now, and that game is over in Norton. And we saw Killingly a little bit earlier. They like to let it fly from the outside. And we got a rebound. Turtelot bringing it up. Blake Ward running the floor. Nice look down underneath to Deacon Labby. That's actually a nice little give and go there for the Tigers.
So, Coach, you have 2 3-level teams here, correct? And 1 4-level team. So you have
we do.
three teams. No, that's okay. 3 teams. Are you looking to expand it, I know NFA has a pretty deep
Yeah, it's
roster.
so impressive seeing how many kids NFA has and stuff. And I know they have other sports that maybe some of the other schools don't have. I heard they had a dance team.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. I'd be out there in the dance team myself. But no, like I said, last year we only had a handful of kids, and there really were no regular ed kids with it. We have 3 players who are on the varsity basketball team, and Montville has a state tournament game tonight. So those kids weren't able to be here. But most of our practices, we generally have 22, 23 kids showing up. What our goal is, the 3 of us that start doing this year, is we'd like to try to get another sport. I think bowling would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'd be able to get out there and throw a few.
Yeah.
You guys are missing an offensive juggernaut over here in Norton. You had Ward knocking one down for Turtle Lot, Martineau and LaValle knocking it down for Killingly. They're firing on all cylinders over in Norton, going back, no defense. Like whatever game's going on in Norton, no defense being played in Norton.
Those rims are usually soft in there, Casey.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is one of the things that we struggled with at the beginning, is we were trying to do some defensive drills with the kids. Hands up, move your feet. But when you have other teams come into your gym, you don't know what their ability level is going to be. And obviously the last thing you want to see is some kid get embarrassed out here who's trying to score. So while you try to teach a little bit of defense, it's all relative. Obviously the most important thing is that everybody out here scores and everybody has as much fun as they can.
Dakota Sanchez for Killingly. Well, it's funny because in the level 2 game we saw a couple of the NFA players were playing really good. I was joking, they were face guarding and chasing the kid around. I'm like, that's because the level is a little bit higher. Yep. Blake Ward knocking it down for Turtelot. Going back to unified dance, one of the things Chris Staley said, which I thought was priceless, was everyone thinks of the comfort level of the unified players. He said the unified kids were all dancing up a storm, and it was the partners that were kind of like, whoa, I'm not ready to put myself out there like that.
Sure.
Nate Martineau there, Casey, with the bucket for Killingly.
Yeah, with some of the unified kids, there's no filter, which is just fantastic, and it makes it even more fun. I know in the past, and this might come across wrong, but like I said, I come to the games every year, and I had another teacher say to me one day, you shouldn't be laughing at this. And I said, no, this is so much fun. This is just positive energy in this gym right here. The kids, we're all laughing together, and this is how our practices are. We've had 5 different games this year, and every single one of them, all the kids walk off the court happy at the end of it. And you guys, having coached and been around sports for your whole lives, very rarely do you get everybody walking off happy right now.
Lindsay's a shooter, by the way. I just want to say that. Lindsay's a shooter for Killingly, knocking them down. And over here we have, for Turtelot, Nathan Plaza with a couple of knocked baskets on the adjusted basket. So the Turtelot Killingly game is wrapping up. And Coach, you'd say, it is. It's a great atmosphere in the gym. It's a lot of fun. People are smiling, having a good time. It's a celebration of something much more than sports, right? This is the best of humanity, with everybody working together, from officials to people getting food to the athletes on the floor. This is just a great experience all the way around. Everyone should come and check this out.
Sure. And as well as me, right now you can't even get coaches for a lot of high school sports because all you hear is negativity coming out of it. That you have to deal with parents, you have to deal with kids complaining about playing time. This is just all positive. It's just all good stuff right here, which is the reason I want to be part of it. And I love the fact I'm doing it this year, and I'll be back for more.
Excellent. Great.
Hopefully you guys are as well. You got a legend coming in next after me right here. He's been doing this forever. That's the word around. He's a legend.
All right, we'll be back with our next guest and more Unified Sports. Thanks to Derek Wainwright. I appreciate some time, and we've been watching Game Day Live on theday.com.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Being part of a great community is so important. People helping and supporting others can be very uplifting and contagious. At Philomena's Restaurant, that's exactly what you get. It's the community hub for not just Waterford, but all of southeastern Connecticut. Birthday parties, anniversary dinners, weddings, sports banquets, a drink with friends, and of course, charity events. Philomena's has been, is, and will always be there for the community. Celebrate and support southeastern Connecticut at Philomena's. Philomena's, Utopia Plaza in Waterford.
Back here at NFA Game Day, presenting the Unified Basketball Games at Norwich Free Academy, hosted by Norwich Free Academy, and we are about to take part in block number 5, I believe. We've been heading through blocks of games. If you're wondering what you're watching, there are games going on both courts here in Alumni Hall. There's another game going on in Norton. We are going to make sure that every team has been covered at least once in a portion of their game, but we do bounce back and forth game to game, as well as guests, Juice.
Yes, and now we have one of the representatives from Lancer Nation. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience at home?
I'm Ethan Del Grosso. I'm a senior for Waterford High School.
And Ethan, talk a little bit about how you got involved in unified sports, how long you've been doing it, and what other sports you participate with.
So from a young age, there's a girl that I work with now, one of our other athletes, who I would work very closely with in class. And as soon as we got to middle school, the opportunity arose to play unified basketball, and it was something I just found interest in and thought that I'd like to do it. And since I've been doing, since I did middle school, I've done different classes, volunteering in special ed rooms, taking unified PEs, unified culinaries, just gotten everything that I can to try and get involved with it because I really love doing it.
What are some of the memories and lessons that you take from being a part of these kinds of events?
I find it really interesting, just the way that we can get different people involved. And there's always a way to adapt the game to somebody else, which in a sport like basketball, where it seems so complex sometimes, I take a lot of pride in the ability that we have, especially Waterford's program does a really nice job of making sure that we're adapting the different pace of play, different play. So like in this kind of tournament where we don't usually split our team up. So having to be able to have different kids who I'll take some of my free periods and work on the game with some of our higher level kids, and having the ability for them to kind of let loose and not have to worry about going slow. And then for our kids who need a little bit more help, the ability to just have it kind of tone it down a little bit. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
What would you say to a kid out there, so a student who wants to be a partner and says, I'd like to know more about that. What would you recommend they do so that they could become involved as a partner in unified sports?
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to go, because when you think about the different students that go on to school, the kids that are going to be in our special ed rooms and are going to be playing unified basketball, there goes some of ours there, they're not always the same kids you're going to have English or math with. So the ability to have programs like unified sports, unified fun clubs, basketball, soccer, different things where you're going to be able to meet kids that you wouldn't necessarily meet. And they're some of my favorite kids, my favorite people to know in the world. Every day I walk into school, I make sure I stop by our 201 room and say hi, because I love seeing these kids every day and I don't see them in my normal classes. So if you can find that room in your school, that teacher who works with unified sports, special education, and try and get in touch with them, try and communicate that you want to be involved and help out, you're not going to ever regret it. They're always the nicest kids. They always put a smile on your face, and they're never mean, never mean any harm. So it's just nice to play and have fun with them.
Had a chance there to see Morgan Santangelo knock it down on the adjusted basket. Santangelo with that basket already better than her dad and her uncle, both of whom I have watched play basketball. And Sam Selegna knocking it down for Waterford now as well. So Norwich Free Academy in Waterford. Now these are some of the kids that you work with. I've watched Morgan. I've known Morgan since she was born, and I've watched her in unified cheerleading, now unified basketball as well. How gratifying is it for you, having done this for a while now, just to see some of the development physically, emotionally for some of the kids that are playing unified sports?
Yeah, Morgan especially. I came into kindergarten with Morgan, and I've known her for forever. So it's Morgan's just one of my favorite human beings. So to be able to, every day that I've come into school, I just have become more involved in her individual learning and her sports, and seeing how she's been able to progress. And she's a fighter. She's a trooper. I remember showing up to kindergarten, and she was in a wheelchair, and then just over time, she's gone to the sticks, and she's gone to walking. And she tones it down on us, but she could be out there sprinting down the court if she wanted to. I've been on the receiving end of her going into turbo mode, and it's not fun when you got to keep up. So,
it's funny you say that, and I'm actually I'm thinking back at how far Morgan has come, and watching her starting in a wheelchair, moving to the sticks, and here she is going up and down the floor. It's it's pretty special to see that. And you know, each of these kids has their own story. Each of these kids has come, you know, and evolved. Yeah. And so, I think we look at it from, you know, from when we look at it from your perspective. I like what you said, right? That she's just one of your favorite human beings. I think that's a nice way of, you know, of looking at how you have how you've been involved. What do you, you know, when you watch it now? So you're sitting here with us watching them. You know, what's going through your mind as you watch them?
It's pretty high definition. It looks great, but it's nice to see it on the other end. I'm not happy that Miss Mackenzie's with Morgan right now. That's my spot. I'm not enjoying that, but I mean, it's awesome to see Morgan from like the other lens too, and the way, like, so when we first started back in 6th grade, what we would do is Morgan would hold the ball on each side of it, and I'd kind of reach under, and we'd count off and push up and try and make into the hoop. So just the way that she's been able to adapt to different types of like hoops and different playing. We use a system where it's like a big little board with different holes in it underneath the hoop that she'll aim for. And she likes to show off. So if you have a couple spectators there, I don't think that I think she could be making it through the big one if you cheer her on enough. But she likes to play, and she enjoys it.
We saw Ruben King knock down a basket for NFA. So I'll tell you what we're going to do, Ethan, while we have, since you've been so gracious with Morgan with the ball, I'm going to let you run over and get over and give her a little bit of support.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you
for having me on.
Great job from the
I just love the fact that he's like, I'm a little jealous right now. That's my spot, you know, and he's known Morgan since kindergarten, and I love what he said, how the actual development, right? How she learned, starting with simply holding a basketball, and there you see Ethan coming over and grabbing onto Morgan. Now coming in the other direction with NFA, but you can see that the bond there between Ethan and Morgan is a special one, and I'm just glad he's got a chance to get back over with his athlete. And that's the kind of partnership, I mean, I don't know that you can describe that kind of partnership, the closeness that some of these kids develop with one another. These are their classmates. You know, they've known each other literally their whole lives.
There you have Fatima Malo with the bucket. Her sister Khadijah cheering her on.
Coming down back in the other direction now. And let Santangelo get another crack at it. It is a Santangelo trait though, like in the shoot the basketball.
Yeah, she's going to set the scoring record. That's about 10 points, I think, already.
I think Ethan's right too. By the way, though, like if she had a chance with the crowd cheering her on, she could probably launch one, you know, up on the big basket and bring the house down.
Yeah, Ryan McDonald's going coast to coast here.
We saw him earlier. He's got a nice touch around the basket. You can see he's just a little strong. He's going to get another opportunity.
Good form there with the lefty.
One more and just off the other side. They're going to give him another chance. There it is. Good use of the backboard. And we're going to switch over to Montville and Ledyard. They are here in Alumni. Get a chance at Montville. No, nice basket. That's James Damien. We've seen him. He's been on fire all day today. Damien putting in for the best shot of the day.
Yes, Morgan and James will be vying for the scoring title. There's a steal.
Well, that's it. There's a difference. He's values the defense. The layup, I thought maybe going for an alley-oop there. Rebound and a basket. Nicely made. Basket's made by John Underwood III. Little high five from Ricardo Figueroa as they head down the floor. Montville will bring it up in the other direction. Pass to Sophia Williams. Oh, just in and out. Strong rebound from Underwood III. Logan Montgomery with the ball for Ledyard. Nice pass down underneath to Underwood and off the backboard, a little strong. Rebound to Williams.
It's a level 3 game, Casey. As we mentioned earlier, most of the teams have level 3, 4, 5. You've got to really keep that program moving for many years and get a lot of participants to get it up to that 2 level. But Montville and Ledyard and Woodstock are showing some big gains in their participation numbers.
Underwood the third has been showing some little moves from the outside. Shot goes up, just front iron. But he's been all over that basket. He's got good range. There comes Williams again from Montville. Good defense from Damien. So pass down to the teammate. Good job for the look under the basket. Back iron. There's a rebound from Underwood the third. Oh, Ricardo Figueroa from downtown. Knocking that one down from Preston.
Bank is open. Chad Simon
kicks it over to Bella Stout.
Nice looking shot.
Oh, just front iron by Williams. Battling for the rebound. Get another look. And just strong. Simon, though, there for the putback. Montville working the offensive glass. We have seen a lot of good work on the offensive glass.
Pass inside to Simon. Good out of bounds play there, Casey.
Well drawn up.
Here come the Colonels.
Montgomery with the basketball for Ledyard. Nice look down low. It goes. Good passing by Ledyard. Figueroa to Underwood the third.
Oh, sure. You want a chair?
Montville working the ball. Good pass to Williams underneath.
Nice shot.
And Underwood has been strong on the glass for Ledyard.
Good pass.
He and Figueroa have worked well together. And Damien, that's a good squad on the floor right now as James Damien knocks it down. That's a good squad on the floor right now for Ledyard.
Tipped it to himself. Just good hand coordination there from Damien. Montville setting it up.
Gonna try to get Williams another shot.
Another strong rebound from Montgomery. The third. No, Underwood.
Underwood, there he is. Strong gets his own rebound. Put back, no good. Another one. He wants it. And finally, there it is. John Underwood III. The persistence pays off. And a basket for Ledyard. And that will wrap it up.
And now we're joined at our interview table by two members of the NFA Unified team. If we want to introduce ourselves.
Joey Twomley.
Nancy Duda.
And you guys have gotten off to a good start here today. Joey, talk about what you saw here today and how you feel playing in these games against all these schools.
Happy.
And what's the best part of playing in a game like this at NFA compared to the other games that you play this season?
Yeah.
What's the best part of playing at NFA?
Basketball, soccer, dance, club.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different. You get to play a lot of different sports here at NFA, right? A lot of different sports, Joe.
Right.
So Nancy, talk about your involvement with Unified Sports, and I know your son's out here as a partner.
My youngest is currently playing, Gavin Duda, and he's a member of the class of 2025. And I had 2 previous children that were also involved. Cameron graduated in 2018, and he was part of the team that went to Seattle for the Special Olympics. So that was a great opportunity. And Caitlin graduated in 2023, and she was also part of the Unified Sports. And I just think it's so fun to watch, and the joy of the partners and the athletes, the friendships that they form over the years. It's just been wonderful. My kids have always looked forward to it, and I see a lot of the students at NFA looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, sort of the premier unified program in all the other schools looking to get to the level of NFA. The roster size is amazing.
It is amazing.
And they have more athletes than a lot of the schools do. We're seeing great partner participation throughout the league, trying to get more and more athletes into
Right.
it. What did your kids find most valuable from their perspective, from what you've talked with them?
I think the friendships that they formed and just this sheer excitement in the athletes' faces, just scoring a basket and just being able to participate in the same sport that they see their other peers participating in as well.
Joey, do you like to shoot the ball or to dribble the ball?
Dribble the ball.
Is basketball your favorite?
I say basketball is my favorite. I think does this turns on.
Yes. And what's your favorite class at NFA?
Class choir because I like to sing.
Nice.
So are you in the dance club also?
I'm this club also.
So you sing, you dance, and you play sports.
Yeah.
That's an active schedule.
I really do love Unified Sports. Also tomorrow I go for class choir. Should I bring my backpack to class choir tomorrow? Because tomorrow I am getting dismissed a little bit tomorrow.
Yes. So Nancy, we had Chris Staley here earlier talking about all the different sports and offerings that NFA has. You've been involved with it directly through your kids. Talk about how it's grown over the years. The different sports, the different offerings.
Yeah. This year, with the amount of partners that came out to participate with the basketball team, I believe Chris Staley said there were about 45 that were involved in it. So that has showed tremendous growth. My 3 kids just participated in basketball. However, Gavin participated in soccer this year too, so that was a nice experience as well. There weren't as many partners, probably around 5, but I think as the kids share their excitement about the Unified program, it encourages their friends to come join the program as well.
And you work here in the school. Talk a little bit about how your role in the school is made sometimes easier by the fact that they have this unified program to look forward to.
Yes, I work in the ILS program here at NFA, which is a wonderful program to be involved in. And it's nice to see the kids in a different perspective after school involved in a sport. You just see a different side of the kids, and you can form like a friendship with them outside of the school classroom, which is nice.
Here we're watching Ledyard and Tortolot, Casey.
Yep, we saw Nick Theodore knock a couple shots down earlier, bangs another one down there. I like the red sneakers as well. Christian Smith for Tortolot has hit 2 back-to-back baskets, number 44 for Tortolot. This game, we've noticed that over in Norton, the offense, the rims in Norton, very soft.
Yes, shooter's gym.
It is a shooter's gym, that is right. So talk a little bit about this event specifically today. It feels like it's building yearly and getting bigger and bigger. And when we talked with Chris, it sounds like every year new partners come to the table and this event just gets bigger.
Right, that's true. I think there's 11 schools involved in the ECC games today, and the students were really looking forward to your coverage today with the day. That was exciting for them to share the same opportunities as their peers that they see on campus enjoying.
Well, we've seen a couple of baskets today that rival any of the things we've seen all year on game day. So, I mean, I'm hoping that tomorrow in school we get some, some good moments where the kids acknowledge that this was some good basketball, because right there's Christian Smith, and he and Jordan Burns have been working it for Turtelot. Burns gave him a nice look, and Christian Smith, it's his third, fourth basket of this game. So when he goes to school tomorrow, I hope all the Turtelot kids are like, you were awesome.
Yeah, this will give them an opportunity to rewatch and see how they did. And
it's nice that when they're changing classes on campus, they see the partners that they're involved with in the sports.
Samantha Tramontana with a ball off the backboard, knocks down the bank shot. Good touch for the shooter. And a long shot in and out from Turtelot. That was Darcy Billings.
Long shot, long rebound.
So what? I know you don't like those long rebounds come off. So just, you've had an interesting perspective, right? As you've had as a parent, someone's in the school, so you've had a lot of different perspectives. What would you say to somebody who's watching right now who doesn't have a kid, in a school, or doesn't have any real working knowledge of it, but just is watching today and saying that this is something that interests me? What would you advise them to do?
I would advise for them to look into the school that their child attends and see if it's something that the school offers to their students. I mean, I think what NFA offers is extraordinary compared to other schools in the area. They offer so many unified programs, whether it's unified basketball, unified soccer, track and field, dance, cheerleading, unified club, which they just do different activities. So there's something for everyone to get involved in on the NFA campus.
Yeah, I have to admit, unified dance is very appealing to me because, as you know, Juice, I love to dance, and I just never got that opportunity. I would have 100% been in unified dance.
Yes, and cheerleading they offer as well.
That one, maybe I've seen how athletic. I'm more athletic than I can handle.
Right.
Nathan Plaza with a basket on the modified hoop for Turtelot, and we're going to be switching over to Montville and Stonington. Our first look at the Bears. So I think that's great advice. Go and reach out, but in other words, the opportunities are there for people who want to be involved.
Exactly.
Brendan Duran there with the basket
Maybe
for the Bears.
Schools will see this in the area and started at their own schools for their students as well.
I think that's a fabulous, that's a great thought, right? If this can inspire. Chris was saying that, unified sports is saturated through the state as far as most high schools have it, but looking to build earlier and earlier middle school programs, elementary school programs, and events like this can bring attention to that and hopefully see an increase in the programs.
Completely agree.
I got switched to level 3.
Alyssa Emming
Miss Shelley told me
with the
that
hoop
I
for
had-
Montville.
Miss Shelley said that I was better at level 3 than 4 or 5. And Miss-
Here come the Bears pushing the ball up court. So, Nancy, once again, we'll just thank you for joining us today, and all the hard work that you put in with the students here at NFA. I know, as a person who works here, but also just a lover of sports in general, we appreciate all the hard work and volunteer time you put in. And thanks for joining us on the air on game day.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good night.
Montville with the basket. Passing and shooting it is Alyssa Emming again. And Emming, see, I'm telling you, the alumni rims are not nearly as forgiving as the Norton rims.
Brand new rims. A little stiff.
But Emming knocks it down. Good use of the backboard.
So a couple years ago, they put these rims in, Casey, on the sides that couldn't be adjusted as well. So right now they are playing at 10 feet, but you can lower them down to 8 feet, and that's it. Also, part of getting your facilities ready to host these kinds of events, to having the ability to modify the height of the rim.
Ainsley Helbig letting them fly for Stonington. Gonna get one more.
This is a level 3 game, so they'll play at the rim at 10 feet. Really only those level 5 games will modify the rim height.
Now Montville, Kevin Kilpatrick with the basketball. Kilpatrick drive into the basket. Sizing it up. Fitzpatrick, my bad, I apologize. Kevin Fitzpatrick, and knocks it down. That was a good job by Fitzpatrick.
Stonington on the fast break again. They like to run.
Good shot going up. From the Bears, again, it's Helbig.
Rebound Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, who we saw with the nice touch his previous time, gives it up to Emming. And Alyssa Emming gets a little bit in her range. We saw her use that backboard really well the first time, knocks it down again. So Emming and Fitzpatrick with baskets for Montville.
Breakaway again for the Bears.
Mohamed Salah is going to pass it over to a teammate. And first time, Helbig. Ainsley Helbig with the basket for the Bears. Little flex.
She deserves it. Great shot.
Fitzpatrick. Teammate Anthony Martin, and gives it over to Emming. Emming's been on fire, made her last 3. That one's a little strong. Shooting percentage dropping here. Emming was, I gave her the jinx. Like when you say someone's a good free throw shooter and they miss 2 or 4. not that I'm bringing that back up on you. Basket made by Brendan Doran. And back to Fitzpatrick.
3 seconds. And he gets it off.
And knocks it down at the buzzer. Kevin Fitzpatrick with the buzzer beater for Montville.
He knew time and score. He knew that he had to get it up there quickly, Casey, and got it off right at the buzzer.
And we've got a couple more games here left and one more guest. It's about time we've got this particular guest on. We've heard his name mentioned a few times, and I have to say the word principal before your name.
Assistant principal.
Yeah, but there is the word principal before your name. We were talking with Chris Williams, and he referenced you as assistant principal Danowitz, and I said, I've called him a lot of things in my life. I got to start calling you assistant principal. First of all, congratulations on that gig, because
thank you. You
get to be a part of events like today. Just, you've got a lot of different perspectives on sports. You're an official, you're an administrator, you were an athlete. Just talk about it from the different perspectives. Like, what does this kind of event, in unified sports do for you?
I probably would just start with being a Montville grad and coming to an event like this, and seeing familiar faces that maybe I haven't seen in 15 years, and going to school with Chris Williams. He was a 90 graduate. I was 91, so I would start there. That it's pretty special to come back, as an administrator in a town where I grew up, was a student, so forth and so on, and actually started my teaching career. So I would actually start with that first. As an administrator, it's just great to see, how our coaches interact with our athletes in school and how they make them part of our school community. So, at the ages of, freshmen all the way up to seniors, is that, they're taking leadership roles within our school community. That's only going to make them better people, and it does a lot for our athletes as well.
One of the things Chris mentioned, which I thought was pretty insightful, he said as an official, he said he loves coming here and watching these games where rules are, they're kind of thrown out, and it's entirely about the love of playing and entirely about sportsmanship. So as you get the administrator view and the official view, it must be really rewarding just to watch kids go out and play with no agenda other than going out and enjoying each other and playing the game.
I actually had this conversation with some basketball officials the other day, and officiating football for 20-something years is, when you first do it, you want the big game. And I kind of just want the game because you appreciate the game more and you just want to go and officiate. The hype is great, the finals are great, but coming to an event like this, I'm not a basketball official, but coming to an event like this has to be great because it's why you actually wanted to officiate, for the love of the game, and you get to see it from all aspects. You get to see the excitement from the parents, from the administrators, the teachers, the student body as well.
And we were talking to Derek Wainwright, who has coached some big games at the varsity level, and he echoed the same sentiments that, it's just about the love of the game. There's no drama that goes along with it. And talk about, like, NFA, of course, has a lot of students to pull from. So for them to have a team, of 50 so kids, that's par for the course when you're drawing from 2,000. But talk about, like, the impressive amount of students that you've been able to get at Montville with a smaller population, and kind of where you want to go with this unified sports program.
We're a student of 496, so call it 500, and I think if I do quick math right there, we're probably 15 players, meaning athletes and students, so I think that's impressive because we don't have 2,000 students to draw from. But I think that says a lot of, number one, you have Mr. Russo, you have Ms. McCormick and Mr. Wainwright, just who they are of individuals in our school and how they go out and reach out to our staff and find the right, not the right athletes and coaches, but just to find the right individuals to go out to be part of this, because you want to have the right people. But we have a lot of people who promote this. I don't know where the unified program was last year. I know this is my first year, but I don't know if you knew this, but our team had the chance to go play at the XL Center in December. I do have a nice little UConn women's connection that hooked us up, so they got to go play at halftime, which is pretty cool.
I asked that question of Coach Wainwright. I said, I'm just curious, like, how many people was that in front of? And he laughs. He's like, a lot of these kids are nervous playing in front of 5 people, and there was 8,000 people, and I said, what a way to start your unified career off. You're playing in front of 8,000 people, and that's incredible. We had Waterford's Ethan Del Grosso, who's a partner, and and he brought up the fact that these are kids that he's grown up with since kindergarten, and so they're his friends, and just watching he felt for him, it's just being out there playing with his friends and watching them. And he talked about Morgan Santangelo and where she started off literally just holding a basketball in a wheelchair, and now she's dribbling and holding a basketball on her feet. So, from your perspective, just talk a little bit about some of the different things that you get to see in your students and how the students respond to their friends and what their friends are accomplishing today.
But I always stop by. They practice on Wednesday, so I like going into the gym to watch. And it's just watch. I mean, we have 3 great coaches, right? Meaning Mr. Wainwright, Ms. McCormick, and Mr. Russo. But it's really watching our coaches, right, helping the athletes, so the adults get to step back and watch them run a practice, be part of practice. So it's really, again, it's what I said earlier. It's just putting our students in leadership roles, which is the most important thing.
And I know Coach Wainwright talked about possibly like adding some offerings. Is that something that you would like to see the school do? Add some more sports?
I can talk to him tomorrow because I don't know what he wants to add yet, but I can.
I've
seen the unified soccer. I've seen the unified
dance team. He wants bowling.
Right.
Obviously, he wants to go out and he wants to.
He doesn't want to move.
No, he wants to be throwing. He's like, I can get down with that. I said unified dance team sounds fabulous because I long to dance, but but the bowling sounds pretty good. How long before? I mean, how many different unified sports? I don't even know how many there are out there, but
I think it's nice to add a cheerleading component to this. So I'm going to go back to, I've been doing this a long time, and I go back to my Clark Lane days as a 6th grade teacher, and Billy Slocum was the one who got this going for us. And I think after our 4th or 5th year is we had close to a unified program of 50-something individuals, which included a cheerleading team. And when we had this at the middle school level, is we went down to New Haven in a bus that held 55 students. And it was great, and the CIAC loved it.
Awesome.
So, they really developed that. Something else that's unique to do is have a senior night for these students. So I've seen that as well, because you acknowledge, the seniors, right? The cheerleaders, the basketball players, at the male and female level, is to do same thing with this, and you can do it at halftime of one of our home varsity games as well.
Fabulous idea.
Yeah, that's outstanding, and you hit it on the head because the the reason that senior nights, exist. You see the chance for the family to be out there with their athlete, acknowledging the work that got put into, their evolution over the course of time, and why not? It makes perfect sense to, same thing, acknowledge these athletes for the work that they've put in and give their families a chance to walk with them and, be a part of it. So that's a great idea. I love that. One of the things that, we've seen today is the competitive nature of the individual kids. They're all having fun, but they get locked in when it's time to, make a basket. And I said, I think of all the things in sports, there is something sort of pure and rewarding about like ball and hoop. Just like putting a ball in a hoop, whether it's a rolled up socks into the, trash can, it's just kind of a nice feeling, and it's been really rewarding to watch everybody on the floor get really like very serious and focused. I love the competition.
It's nice when you go to some tournaments too, because depending on the levels, right, of where they are, if they're wheelchair bound, is that there's certain ways that they have the hoops set up so they all can be successful.
Sienna Knowles with the basket for NFA, and here is your team right here. There's the Montville team. We have
Toby, number
Great
10
job,
right there.
Morgan. You were awesome today.
the basket for.
It's actually unique about number 18, Kyle Varney, who was going down the court. He plays a big part in our volunteer program at Oakdale Fire Department. So, he spends a lot of time up there when he's not at Montville High School. And, on the weekends is when there is a fire, he's out assisting as well.
That's awesome.
There is a really
Great
cool
job,
story
really
I was
proud of
just
her.
sharing with Mike. They're not on the court right now. Number 31 is Alicia, and Big Kev, number 33, right there.
We saw them earlier in here in alumni.
They were part of the senior prom last year. I believe it was senior prom, not homecoming. And there was a couple individuals who gave up their king and queen status, right, to allow them to have that same opportunity. So I think that's a great example of, we have our coaches who are, developing themselves as leaders and seeing big picture.
That's amazing. Sol Marie Bermudez had a bucket and a rebound for NFA.
Fitzpatrick was very impressive. Went the length of the floor, knocked them down a couple times in our previous game.
There's another bucket from.
I think the percentage of layups is much better than some of the varsity games I go to.
I didn't want to say that, but here's my personal favorite. Right, I don't play favorites, but I will, because Sophia Williams wears 37, which I will continue to say is the greatest number in all of sports. And was also a huge Steve Elsey and Friends fan back when she was little. So I've known Sophia since she was a little girl, and so if basically if you wear my number and you like me, I'd put you on the top of my list of favorites. I don't know.
Not a bad idea. And Sol Marie Bermudez has taken over this game.
She what's that, 3 buckets now?
Back-to-back baskets and rebounds. So stuffing the stat sheet here, Casey.
And we saw Emming earlier. And another basket there for
She
Alyssa
knows how to
Emming.
use the backboard. Every time you see her shoot, it's off the backboard and in. And Coach Wainwright said earlier that the Montville boys team has a game tonight, or you'd see some of their athletes here. I see a lot of NFA basketball players helping out. It's nice to see when the varsity athletes talk about how when the varsity athletes get involved with the unified.
Yeah, so we typically practice on Wednesdays. Meaning the team and their games are on Wednesdays, and what's nice is that not all, but some of the varsity players stay. We have them doing the clock, the scoreboard. We have them being the officials on the court, so I think that's important as well. They're seeing that this is a program that is just as important as our varsity program, meaning basketball, as well. So it's all built into the school system.
That's terrific.
Stephen Delmas knocked down a shot for NFA before. And there's another basket, that one by Montville. Chad Simon. We've seen him score a few buckets today.
Sienna Knowles with the shot for NFA. Rebound Williams.
Sophia gonna go the length of the floor, coast to coast, and bang, knocking it down.
Easy game, Casey. Coast to coast, no hesitation.
Delmas in the other direction for the Wildcats.
There's Stefan sizing it up. Stefan just off the side. One more try.
Get the rebound back.
Loose ball drills. Good passing.
I'm telling you, we get you coaching and we're going to be seeing the 3-2 full court trap get brought to the unified games.
There's
There
Stefan.
was a 1-4 out there before, Casey. You saw a 1-4.
Stefan finally gets the basket to go. Here's Big Kevin.
Remember he knocked the buzzer beater down. Another one. Another buzzer beater. Fitzpatrick's been on fire. He's been aware of clock and time at all moments.
Somari Bermudez with yet another basket.
And we're heading toward the end of our final game of the day. This is NFA and Montville over in Norton. We've been happy to get pieces of all 11 schools that are represented here today in the unified games at NFA. Emming will step in, so she wants that backboard. She knows that square, and boom, there it is. And again, more kids should use the backboard.
That's what it's there for, Casey. It's not a decoration.
I just thought it was there to stop my ball from going in the neighbor's yard.
Big rebound from Simon.
Oh, out ahead. Transition defense.
Oh,
Not
that's
there.
beautiful.
Backboard. Basket by Simon. Good job, Chad Simon. And that's going to, looks like it's going to wrap things up on Norton, which will bring to conclusion our games here today at Norwich Free Academy. So we've had a chance. We'll wrap up with you in a second. Assistant Principal Danowitz.
Thank you.
We've had a chance today to talk to, parents, teachers, coaches, athletes, partners. It's been a chance to talk to all of them, and it's been a really great moment. But you talked about the expansion and the potential expansion. Could you see unified sports expanding into, I know that Chris Staley said, middle school, elementary schools in certain places. Do you see the value of, if that were possible, of expanding it?
Yeah, I think this is a starting point for us. Listen, I think we're very fortunate. The individual, Mr. Dillig. We have a new athletic director. Yep. He's still getting his feet wet, but he's doing a great job. But I think this is next steps for us.
Yeah.
In Montville Public Schools is to move this down or up, because it is up the hill at the middle school level, because there are middle schools in our area, Clark Lane being one of them, and you just need one or two. And the travel, there doesn't have to be the long travel like NFA has to do, but there's a lot of local schools that I know that are doing this now.
Awesome. So we want to thank Assistant Principal Ken Danowitz. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time to spend with us. And Juice, this has been a pretty awesome event.
It's been really cool.
Had a chance to talk to a lot of different people today, and we want to thank all of them who joined us today. And, of course, we want everybody to watch today's broadcast over and over again and see the great atmosphere, the athletes, the partners, the parents, the coaches, the officials, everybody in partnering up today for a great event here at NFA. So for all of us here on the Game Day crew, we want to thank everybody for paying attention, tuning in, and letting us present the great efforts here today. Unified basketball at NFA. Have a great day, everybody.